All right, let's talk about a topic that, if you're studying IT, you just know is going to show up on your exam. Cloud computing. It's massive, it's everywhere, and yeah, it can be a little confusing. So today, we're going to cut through all that, get you totally prepped for your exams, and really nail down what it is, how it works, and why it's pretty much changed everything.
So here's what we're going to do. We'll kick things off with a super clear definition. Then we'll look at where the cloud is hiding in plain sight. We'll weigh up the pros and cons. And then we'll wrap it all up with the key points you need for revision and some exam-style questions to make sure it all sticks. Sound good? Let's jump in.
Okay, so think about this for a second. It seems like a simple question, but the answer really gets to the core of what the cloud is. All those photos, your documents, your music, they're not really living on your phone or your laptop anymore, are they? They're just out there, somewhere else, ready for you whenever you want them. And that somewhere else? Well, that is the cloud.
So let's get down to business. For an exam, just having a vague idea isn't going to cut it. You need that official, rock-solid definition that's going to get you the marks. This sentence right here, this is your golden ticket. The two words you really need to focus on are sharing and resources. The whole idea is that we've moved away from owning all the gear yourself. Instead, you're tapping into a massive shared pool of everything: storage, servers, processing power, over a network, which, let's be honest, is almost always the internet. And this image shows that before and after perfectly. See on the left? That's the old school way. A company has its own servers, physically inside their building, eating up space, power, and needing a whole team to look after them. Now look to the right. That's the cloud model. The same company is now just accessing everything they need over the internet from these enormous, super efficient warehouses full of servers called server farms. These are the key features you've got to know. First, obviously, you get to it over the internet. Second, it works on pretty much any device you can think of. But this third one, honestly, this is the real magic trick. Resources are allocated dynamically. What does that mean? Well, if an app suddenly goes viral, the cloud can instantly throw more processing power at it from this giant shared pool. It's incredibly flexible. And finally, all of this is tracked and measured so you only pay for what you use. Okay, that's enough of the theory, right? The big question is, where is this cloud in our actual lives? Well, as you're about to see, it is pretty much everywhere. Seriously, every single time you binge watch a show on Netflix, or put on your favorite playlist on Spotify, or jump into an online game, yup, you're using the cloud. When you back up your photos to Google Photos or iCloud, that's the cloud. That group project you're working on with Google Docs, that amazing real-time collaboration is all powered by the cloud. It's just woven into everything we do online. So why did this model completely take over the tech world? Well, the advantages are just massive, especially for businesses. Let's break down the biggest ones. First up, storage. You know that horrible storage full notification on your phone? The cloud is basically the cure for that. For a business, it's even more important. They can scale their storage up or down in an instant. And the ability to grab any file you need, whether you're on your phone, tablet, or laptop, that's the cloud working its magic. Now, let's talk money, because this is a huge one. Instead of a company forking out a fortune on a massive in-house server that they have to buy, power, cool, and pay people to maintain, they just rent it. It's a pay-as-you-go model. You're renting the infrastructure instead of owning it, and that saves companies an absolute ton of cash. And think about software for a second. With cloud apps, you're always using the latest and greatest version. The provider handles all the security patches and updates behind the scenes. You don't have to do a thing. It's a massive win for both security and just plain convenience. But, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. For your exams, you absolutely need a balanced view, and that means knowing the drawbacks. So let's flip the coin and look at the other side. And here is the big one. The cloud's greatest superpower is also its Achilles heel. It all depends on your internet connection. If your connection is slow, everything feels like it's crawling through mud. And if it goes down completely, well, you're locked out. No files, no apps, nothing. And then there's the trust issue, which is huge. You are literally handing your data, your photos, your documents, everything, over to a third-party company. And yeah, their security's probably way better than yours, but you've still given up direct control. It makes you wonder, who can actually see my information, and is it really safe? And that leads to this whole other headache. Your data might be sitting on a server in a completely different country, or even split across several countries. This means it could be subject to totally different laws about privacy and government access. For businesses, this can become a real legal minefield.
Okay, deep breath. We've covered a ton of ground. Now, let's boil it all down to the absolute essentials, the stuff you have to remember when you walk into that exam hall. Look, if you remember nothing else, remember these 5 points. Seriously, be able to define it in that simple way. Know the main benefit is saving money and hassle. Know the main drawback is needing the internet. Be able to explain that dynamic allocation idea. And finally, be ready to talk about the security concerns. This right here is the core of a top-grade answer. Right, you didn't think I'd let you go without a quick test, did you? I'm going to throw a couple of typical exam questions at you. I really want you to hit pause and actually think for a second about how you'd structure your answer before I walk you through it. Okay, here's the first one. Ready? For your 2 advantages, you'd want to hit on cost savings. The school doesn't need to buy and run its own expensive servers, and collaboration, which is perfect for letting students and teachers work on documents together from anywhere. And for the disadvantage, the top answer is always going to be security and data privacy. The school is trusting a company with a lot of sensitive student information. And for our last one, a bit more technical this time. Go ahead and pause. Okay, dynamic allocation of pooled resources. It sounds super intimidating, but I promise it's pretty simple. Just imagine a giant swimming pool of computing resources, processing power, storage, the whole shebang. The cloud provider just automatically gives each customer exactly the slice of that pool they need at any given moment. When one customer needs more, they instantly get it. When they need less, those resources go right back into the pool for someone else to use. It's that incredible efficiency that makes the whole thing so powerful and cheap. So I'll leave you with this to think about. What piece of tech you use every day would be totally impossible without the cloud? Keep thinking, keep questioning, and good luck with your revision.